So that's, in a nutshell, that's my story. And I want to unpack that because there's a couple layers. There's initially the undue influence his family had in the criminal justice system that people shouldn't have. There's the knowledge that the DA's office had along the way that there was a child custody case, and yet they chose to meddle in my child custody case because of what this family represents and their connections. And lastly, I want to talk about the retaliation portion of this, because this has turned into something completely different, where Sharen Wilson is using this case to retaliate against my newspaper. And I have, we'll discuss that at length. I mean, the fact that the prosecutor is someone that I personally have written about a dozen times, that man should not be on my case. This is a personal vendetta that he has against me, and he's being allowed to exact retribution using our criminal justice system. It is abhorrent. So, backing up, everything I said is true. I have a daughter.
How old is your daughter now?
She's 4.
She's 4 now.
Yeah, 4 and a half.
Have you ever actually seen her? I mean...
So what happened was she was placed on a no-contact list. So this is before I had seen her, and I was initiating a family court battle. The other side knew it, and they leveraged the district attorney's office to place my daughter on a no-contact list, because by then I had these harassment charges. So once you have these charges, it's a Class B misdemeanor. Once you have these charges, they can place restrictions on you. And that was her plan the whole time. And I can read Brady evidence that shows where she describes her plan. They know her plan. They're helping her enact her plan. What they didn't expect was that my attorney would contact a judge and have my daughter's name removed. And that allowed me to meet my child. It wasn't the family court system. It was the actions of my attorney who undid the damage of the district attorney's office that allowed me to see my child. So I was fighting I have been fighting the district attorney's office for 3 years now just to be a parent.
Wow.
So, but yes, I have been united with my child. I'm under some kind of gag order on the family court side, so I can't go into details. You know, a lot of people get that. It's an unfair thing.
Right.
It's an unright thing, but I am going to avoid getting into the details of the family custody case. Luckily, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. So initially, my ex-girlfriend, this is the mother, she wanted these charges in her name as the victim, because that would have helped her case. That would help her paint me as someone who was dangerous. And of course, I've never been a danger to anyone in my life. But the district attorney's office rejected her case, and I have that documented too. They rejected her case based on the advice of the police, who I spoke to on multiple times, and I can say they were very sympathetic to my cause. They understood that here is a father, he has parental rights to seek a relationship with his child, and there's actually a family code law that protects me, and we'll be using that during the trial next week to say this was unconstitutional. After the DA's office rejected her case, they found out who her family connections were. And she was able to meet with the intake attorney and, as I said, formulate a scheme. They realized, well, you can't force the cops to press charges on you with you as the mother, because you're the mother, he's the father, you have a child together. But they spent a lot of time digging around, what can we get this guy on? What can we get him on? Which, again, is not their role. That's the role of the police. The DA's office was acting outside of their role, and they came up with a plan and forced it on the police officers, forced the detective to sign the warrant. I know that because people within PD described the meddling that was happening. And obstruction of justice is a crime. It is a felony. And I want to read this email from June 2, 2019. This is days before, maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe a day if I remember right, before I was arrested for the first time in my life. I have no criminal record whatsoever, and God willing, I will not have one after this trial, because I believe a jury will find me innocent. So this is the sergeant speaking to her lieutenant about my case. Okay. Detective Dunn does not believe the elements of the offense have been met, and I agreed. So here we have the detective and the sergeant, after a year and a half of my ex trying to criminalize my efforts, they're saying very clearly, this man has not committed a crime.
Right.
This is their words. And they give a background to this. FYI, boyfriend, suspect, girlfriend, victim were in a dating relationship when girlfriend got pregnant. They broke up when she was 7 to 8 months along and hid from baby's father at her parents' house. This is the man who I was harassing. This is the man who was hiding my child in his home. until she was until she had the baby and has refused to allow him access. This has been an ongoing civil ordeal as well at many family courts. But please know that the victim is a legal aid of some sort and the niece of a high-profile defense attorney. I'm going to leave the names out. She has used her DA connections to try and supersede and dictate how the detective works her case. She has used her countless connections in the 4th PD and DA's office to strong-arm myself, the detective, and attempt to have the case reassigned. So that's a police officer describing obstruction of justice coming from the district attorney's office very clearly. And so, but they were successful because they had so much influence. This wealthy family had so much influence that they were able to force this detective to do something that she did not believe in. And I had someone, I can't say who it was, but I had someone from that department contact me multiple times describing what was happening, describing the undue influence that my ex-girlfriend had, the meddling and the obstruction. And it's even with all of that, I've had to deal for 3 years with these charges leading up to my trial on Monday. So there was obstruction of justice. It was done as a favor to a wealthy, well-connected family.